Not that this team needs much extra motivation, but Austin, the magic number is still down to 1. It is tonight's Boo Focus. Again, the Cavaliers can clinch the 1 seed with a victory or a Celtics loss. As these games wind down, AC, how much more urgency is there to get it done tonight, knowing you have a tough back-to-back on the road on Thursday and Friday?
Kelly, you hit the nail right on the head there. When you look at what's going on with what they have left, I don't trust New York on the road. I don't trust any of the Pacers on the road. And to get the Pacers back here. Tonight is set up perfectly for the Cavs to get that number 1 seed locked up tonight.
Yeah, no question. Here are the Eastern Conference standings. The Cavaliers with a 4-game lead over the Boston Celtics. With 4 games remaining, the Celtics in New York tonight for a matchup with the Knicks. Certainly that's a game that we're going to be paying attention to as the evening progresses. Well, for more on the Cavaliers tonight and who's in and who's out, let's head downstairs now as we welcome in.
The injury report is lengthy, especially for the Chicago Bulls. Remember, the Bulls do play tomorrow night on a second night of a back-to-back against Miami. So that had to go into some of the thought process here. Lonzo Ball, Ayo, Josh Giddey, Kevin Huerter, Trey Jones, Vucevic, Kobe White, even with rest, all out for Chicago. Then Donovan Mitchell out with that ankle. Now, Kenny Atkinson did say that he thought the ankle sprain was mild. They will have to see, though, depending on what happens in this game tonight, if they clinch number 1 and decide what they're going to do, with resting guys throughout the rest of this regular season. Then Craig Porter Jr. also with an illness. He is questionable for tonight. Now, Kaylee, one thing about this team is the depth has always been something this team can rely on. Look, a lot of teams have depth, but it's not always that mentality that these guys off the bench come out with every single night. They sure did tonight.
They've always been there for us for the entire season. I think that's what makes us so good is our depth and guys and the skill set that we have. Super selfless team that we have. So everybody's super happy for one another and want to see each other shine. And it's a good thing to see because they'll come a long way in the playoffs for sure.
I think we all understand the importance of it, understand the importance of having depth and what that can do and that help you win games in the playoffs. And I think everybody's had that mindset all year and how good our depth can make us and help us, have a long playoff run. So everybody's kind of on the same goal and the same mindset in that regard. And, when you have that, everybody tied in together and on the same goal and same mindset, it's makes life easy.
And Kaylee, Craig Porter Jr. has actually been ruled out for tonight with an illness. Look, Isaac Okoro now in that starting lineup. And for Donovan Mitchell, Isaac has started in 21 games this season. The Cavaliers 18-3 in those games. So if you like numbers, they're pretty good. And look, Kaylee, all season long, if a starter has been missing, the probability of the Cavaliers winning the game has still been pretty darn good. It's been over 80%. So if there's one thing about this team, relying on that bench depth, which is crazy. It's something Kenny talked about in that opening press conference, still rings true here at the end of the regular season.
Yeah, it certainly does, Serena. Thank you so much. The depth has been one of the strengths of this team all season long, AC. As we take a look at the remaining schedule, again, just 4 games left in the regular season for the Cavaliers, hosting the Bulls tonight. Then they go on the road for a back-to-back in Indiana and New York, and finally wrapping things up with the Pacers, a day game on Sunday before, we got the playoffs coming in just a little bit. Well, let's welcome him on in, Nostradortis. He's ready to go. I can feel the predictions.
You're welcome.
You can feel them.
You're welcome.
Well, Nostradortis, I have a guest joining me on set. Austin Carr would like to interact with you for the very first time this season.
It's the first time I've had to see the great Nostradortis.
Yes, it is your pleasure, but proceed. Go right ahead.
Well, Austin, I'll let you ask the first question.
Okay. Well, I want you to look into your crystal ball there. Will the Cavs get the job done tonight? Will they clinch the number 1 seed?
Very good question, even though a very simple question, a very good question. Absolutely. The Cavaliers win tonight in a big fashion. They clinch that home court seed, the number 1 seed, which they will have all the way through the playoffs, including into June, when they will have an opportunity to win a world championship. and bring it home again to Northeastern Ohio.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that prediction. I think all Cavaliers fans will like that prediction as well. The Cavaliers certainly living up to the hype, looking to clinch that 1 seed tonight. Okay, Nostra Doherty, I have a question for you as well. Obviously, we know the success that the team has had this season, and that has put a number of players and coaches up for potentially some end-of-the-season NBA awards. So, which Cav can take home an NBA award this year?
Again, a very elementary question, but I will answer just to humor myself. Kenny Atkinson is the coach of the year without question. Donovan Mitchell is all-pro, no doubt about it. Darius Garland playing at an all-pro level as well. The defensive player of the year is Evan Mobley. The sixth man of the year could be either Ty Jerome or DeAndre Hunter. I think they split it, actually. Multiple awards throughout the lineup for the Cavaliers. They will take home all of the hardware and all of the awards at the end of the basketball season.
All of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
My
wow,
goodness.
That's impressive.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Well, now, I want you to look. You're going to have to look deep for this one,
all right.
Nostra. Who will the Cavaliers face in the first round?
That is a tough one.
That's a tough one.
A lot of tough opponents are going to be coming out of that 7, 8, 9, 10 games. I do think, though, it's a rematch from last year. The Cavaliers will face the Orlando Magic. I hope so, because I want to go to Florida. But the Cavaliers will face the Orlando Magic in the first round of the playoffs and defeat them soundly as payback for the injuries that occurred last year during the playoffs as the Cavaliers march on to the World Championship.
There'll be storylines galore with that one. And hey, Nostra Doherty wants to go to Florida. That's obviously the most important part. Well, Nostra Doherty, one more from me. Obviously, tonight, the Cavaliers and the Bulls facing off. Cavs looking for the season sweep. I want you to tell the viewers at home, what will be the final score this evening?
Well, I will do that only if the viewers promise to still watch, because I'm usually 100% right. The score will be 123 to 116. The Cleveland Cavaliers will win tonight and clinch that number 1 seed.
Austin, do you have a prediction?
Yes, well, I'm
just to test your knowledge.
I'm just going to try to reach up in 128, 121.
Okay, I like them both. Nostra Doherty, thank you as always for taking the time. We appreciate you. We are so grateful that you have graced us.
It's been an honor, Nostra.
It has been your pleasure.
All right, we got plenty more coming up here on Cavaliers Live. Cavs and Bulls round 4 coming up. The Cavs going for the season sweep. We'll hear from head coach Kenny Atkinson coming up. The Cavaliers potentially could complete their 16th sweep of the season if they get the win over the Bulls here tonight. Austin, they've gone 3-0 so far this season. Why has Cleveland been so successful against Chicago?
Well, the one thing that they have done, and which I'm hoping comes back, they at least find one half where they can defend this team and shut them down and get a significant lead. That has been huge for this team, and they've been finding that all season. They've had a little trouble with lately, but I'm looking for them to come out and find at least one half what they dominate on the defensive end.
Well, Austin, today there was some notable coaching movement in the NBA as the Denver Nuggets fired Michael Malone. They also fired their general manager, Calvin Booth. He's the winningest coach in franchise history. It also comes with the end of the regular season approaching rather quickly. Obviously, we know Taylor Jenkins got let go just about a week ago. And it was stunning news, I think, to everyone around the NBA. What did you make of that?
It shocked me because he was I think his record is 47-32, something like that now.
Yeah, they're fourth in the Western Conference.
They're fourth in the Western Conference. And to let your coach go this late in the season with the playoffs right around the corner, it had to be something caustic. Something had to happen that really was something that they just had to do it.
Yeah.
Because you don't do that in any sport. You don't do that.
They won the title less than 2 years ago. It was, certainly shocking around the NBA today. But let's focus more on tonight's game. John Michael standing by with head coach Kenny Atkinson. The coach's call is presented by Zoom.
All right, thanks. Hey, Kenny, you go with Isaac Okoro in that starting lineup today. What has Isaac meant to you and the coaching staff this season?
And he just keeps getting better. You know, he had that little, injury setback but if you take the totality of his season, having a really good season and he's really, really one of our guys that just keeps playing better each game, a little better. He's going to be important tonight, right? Put him on, probably put him on Giddy. Giddy's playing great, and it's nice to have Ice out there with his size and aggressiveness and force.
We've seen each team in the league a couple of times now this year. Is there another reserve in the NBA, with the possible exception of DeAndre Hunter, who impacts winning as much as Ty Jerome?
Oh, that's a great question. You saw it the other night. A guy comes in and, hadn't played in a series of games. It comes in and gets 20, doesn't skip a beat, and plays with that. I know the fans love it, right? With that swagger. And we've been missing that a little, guy that's going to talk a little smack, guy that's got, going to strut after, making one of those, 15-foot floaters that he loves. But, he impacts winning. He impacts the spirit of the team.
Kenny, we always appreciate it. Best of luck tonight.
Appreciate it, J. Mike.
All right, Kenny and the Cavs look to clinch the 1 seed as they take on the Bulls here this evening.
Boston, as we know, 4 games remain in the regular season tonight, facing off against a Chicago Bulls team that is already locked into the play-in tournament, but they are still fighting for seeding. Now, obviously, the injury report is quite extensive for that team here tonight, but nonetheless, for the Cavaliers, knowing that this is potentially a team that they could see in the first round, how do you approach this game?
You come to this game for one thing only, that's the victory.